Breaking news now on Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Bridget Bureau.
And I'm Brent Harden. Developing news tonight, more than a year after the Electric Blue Strip Club in Tolland was briefly shut down over allegations of prostitution. The owner, manager, and bouncer are all now facing federal charges. Fox
61 Sarah Sanchez joining us live in the Breaking News Center to break down the 12-count indictment released moments ago. Sarah.
Well, the indictment alleges Electric Blue had a semi-private lap dance room and VIP rooms where dancers regularly performed sex acts for customers. The indictment says customers were charged additional fees for these rooms, and it alleges the money collected was used to fund Kenneth Denning's personal expenditures, including trips to casinos. Denning and Joshua Baker also allegedly provided false information to the club's tax return preparer for 3 years, underpaying by more than $2 million. Additionally, the trio were involved in hiring dancers who were not legally allowed to live or work here in the country. Homeland Security searched the club last March after allegations of prostitution. The club's management had called those allegations humiliating and absurd. Any employee or dancer at Electric Blue who's been a victim of these unlawful acts is encouraged to call the U.S. Attorney's Office of Victim Advocate. Brent, Bridget, back to you.
All right, Sarah, thank you. We are also following breaking news from Woodstock now. We're told there's an active state police investigation happening right now. Police are not telling us specifically what the investigation is regarding, but we're waiting for more information. We can confirm it's happening near Woodstock Road. Right now, Prospect Road at the intersection of Route 197 and Country Road at the intersection of Woodstock Road are both closed. We will keep you updated.
Turning out to Waterbury, where 2 more members of a violent street gang called 960 have been convicted of murder and racketeering, among other crimes. In total, that's now 14 guilty verdicts tied to the 960 gang. 2 members of a violent street gang convicted in Waterbury.
These convictions stemmed from the defendant's involvement in multiple acts of violence against rival gang members and innocent bystanders alike. Specifically, the trial evidence established that these individuals participated in no fewer than 10 acts of violence between 2017 and 2019.
The U.S. Attorney for the District of Connecticut announced Wednesday a grand jury returned guilty verdicts for 30-year-old Gabriel Pulliam and 25-year-old Julian Scott for a string of violent crimes, including murder and racketeering. They joined 14 other members of the 960 gang serving time behind bars, 5 of them serving life in prison.
This case serves as an illustration of what can happen when federal and state law enforcement agencies cooperate together.
Investigators at the state and federal level pooling resources to build a case strong enough to lead to convictions. But the early work of collecting evidence started at the local level in Waterbury, where many of the crimes occurred.
A special thank you to the men and women of the Waterbury Police Department that dedicated countless hours over the last 6 years in investigating the 960 gang and bringing justice and some closure to the family of victims that were this violence was perpetrated against.
Federal leaders say since the arrests of these gang members, they've already seen violent crime in the area go down, a trend they hope will continue as 2 additional members await formal charges for their role in 960 violence.
Every Connecticut resident, regardless of race, ethnicity, or social economic status, deserves to live in a safe community.
Pulliam and Scott are still awaiting their sentencing hearing, but officials say they are facing mandatory life in prison. Meantime, the 2 remaining gang members are in the process of being indicted. We will continue following the case, and we'll let you know what happens in court.
New tonight, an officer-involved shooting in Manchester has been ruled justified. Police were responding to a domestic call last July at an apartment complex on North Main Street when Joseph DiLoretto charged at Officer Haley Ouellette with a knife. Now, in response, Officer Ouellette fired multiple shots at DiLoretto. The investigation found that Officer Ouellette was defending herself from injury or death.
A big topic in Bristol back on the agenda tonight. That's the one of aggressive geese. Officials with Parks and Rec meeting right now to talk about how to keep the geese at bay. People packed the meeting last month where officials considered killing the geese. Many oppose that idea. Now some non-lethal options are being discussed tonight. We will have a live report from the meeting coming up on Fox 61 News at 10 and 11. And turning now to your weather watch. Hope you managed to stay dry on this rainy Wednesday.
Yeah, Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank joining us right now with more on the rest of the week. Rach?
Yeah, whatever you did to stay dry today, same tactics tomorrow. We'll see periods of rain and it will be occasionally heavy. I think these cameras really tell the story, especially the New Haven camera. I can barely see. It's just foggy and misty and drizzly and dreary. And taking a look at the radar, you'll see it's lit up in green with most everybody getting at least some light rain or some drizzle. But then occasionally we have some of those brief heavier or moderate downpours from New Milford over through Middlebury. And in northeastern Connecticut, we are seeing some steady, consistent rain right up 395. But let's widen things out and you'll see some heavier rain here south of Long Island. That is going to lift up into Connecticut here. So we are going to be watching for some downpours as we head through the evening tonight and into part of tomorrow as well. Tomorrow is just one of those days where, again, you got to keep the umbrella by your side. It'll be cool, it'll be cloudy, a little bit of humidity. This is the morning commute, noticing in some areas it's raining, others it's pouring, and we'll see those occasional showers as we head through the remainder of the day too. There is a chance for some localized poor drainage flooding where the heaviest rain ends up setting up. I think that's the exception rather than the rule, but we'll be watching that closely. Overnight lows in the 50s tomorrow. We're looking at highs in the low to mid 60s. And then once we get past tomorrow, Friday looks gorgeous. We'll be talking about what that means heading into the weekend coming up.
All right, sounds good, Rachel. Thank you. Well, today's rain wasn't enough to cause widespread flooding, but for residents of Job's Pond in Portland, every drop makes it harder to keep their heads above water. Homeowners are still at risk of losing their livelihoods. Fox 61's Matt Caron is in Portland to see if any progress has been made.
Well, the rain that is coming down right now is a nightmare scenario for these residents. I wish I could tell you the water level has receded. It has only gotten worse. And you have to remember, this private pond is fed by runoff, culverts, and underground glacial springs. That's a lot of water coming in with no place for it to go. It's been 3 weeks since you last saw Job's Pond in Portland. The water is higher.
He's trying to fight the battle.
So too is the anxiety.
It's devastating. You see the water coming in. You see all the work you've done to try to make your home better, and you see things just crumbling.
8 homes now sit abandoned. Those still afloat are holding on to hope.
All we can do is hope.
And holding on to each other. Bracing for another round of rain.
Whatever may come tonight could bring this up significantly higher.
But it isn't all bad news.
I promise you, there are a lot of people working on this at the state, local, and the federal level.
Portland First Selectman Ryan Curley told Fox 61 3/4 of the funding needed to begin pumping has come through. Government moving fast, but not fast enough.
It's starting to encompass houses.
We've put in hundreds and hundreds of sandbags.
The temporary fix will deploy 2 pumps capable of moving 10,000 gallons of water a minute through piping into the Connecticut River. While engineers work to start that project, they are simultaneously brainstorming a long-term fix.
They would be digging a pipeline from the pond either to a retention pond or out even further, maybe even to the river. And so it would be gravity fed, and if the water level rose to a certain level, the water would just flow out and this would not happen again.
As for that still missing portion of funding, the State Department of Energy and Environmental Protection sent me a statement that reads in part, quote, DEEP is attempting to identify funding to be used as a non-federal match. But remember that even once all the funding comes in, officials still need to make sure that legal agreements are in place with all of the private property owners who would be affected by that temporary pumping pipeline. Reporting in Portland on Job's Pond, Matt Caron, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Matt, thank you very much. Connecticut State Police investigating tonight after a 2-year-old boy fell out of a moving SUV. This happened around 3:15 yesterday afternoon on Sunnybrook Lane in Clinton. The boy was rushed to the hospital, we're told, with serious injuries. Troopers say the toddler was not in a car seat at the time. The State Police Major Crime Squad is now investigating.
Fire crews responded to a house fire in Meriden this morning. It happened at a home on North Broad Street just after 8 a.m. Officials say the road was closed for some time as crews got access to hydrants in the area. No one was at home at the time. No injuries were reported. Officials are now investigating what caused that fire.
Governor Ned Lamont went on to sign more bills into law today, including a timely one for police officers. The governor signing a bill that establishes a fallen officer fund where surviving families can receive up to $100,000 tax-free. It also allows these family members to retain health insurance coverage of fallen officers for up to 5 years. The bill signing ceremony corresponding with Peace Officer Memorial Day, which honors fallen officers. The governor signed 9 other laws today, from rules on pausing police body cams to guidelines for streamlining waiting lists over at nursing homes. You can find all of our coverage of the past legislative session, new laws waiting for the governor's approval, and much more. You can find it online and on our free news app. Just look for the Real Story tab at the top of your screen.